Hi you guys, thanks for coming back to my channel. I'm Maude, in case this is your first time here. And today I'm going to be showing you how I refurnished my studio, I guess is what you'd call it. It's not exactly a renovation, it didn't get that intense. But I did feel the need this year to go in and kind of just smooth things out around the edges, get some better storage solutions. I'd kind of gotten to that point where every time I turned around I knocked something over and then went absolutely insane because stress and knocking things over. And my mom told me once that, you know, you have less anxiety and feel better about the world when your space is clean. And Mother, you were right. I was wrong. That is on camera. I love you very much. But I desperately needed a little bit of a rehaul for my studio, you know, ever since I started working from home because of the pandemic, as most of us have, or many of us have. And I went from having a fairly sizable studio, and I mean, that's like my version of sizable. It was like 600 square feet. And now I have a tiny little studio at home, and I love it and I adore it, and it's my favorite place in the world. But it's like, I think it's like 150 square feet. It's very small. It's very, very small. So I figured, you know, when you have a small space, you have to get kind of ingenious. And I wanted to, you know, my laundry list of asks I had for myself, so I'm not sure if that's an ask if I'm asking myself, but my goals were to make more real estate on my countertops, more space for me to actually work. I wanted to get some things that were sitting on top of my desk, below or above or in some sort of storage space. I wanted to make my desk a little bit nicer, so if and when I do videos like this or I do my tutorials, I can film right on the desk and not have issues. The desk I had before, I honest to God took 4 2x6s and nailed them together, and it was not level at all. It did its job. I had it for a couple of years and it was really good. And it served its purpose, but I needed something new there. I also wanted to go over everything I had hanging up, all of my decor. I love decor. I have a problem with decor. And kind of weed it out, you know. I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna show you guys what I did and how I did it. And yeah, tell me what you think. So this is my very, very messy studio. When I first put the studio together and started working in it, there was much less that I did. As an artist in this space, there's a lot less to store and a lot less activity going on in here. And as my business has gotten larger and the pandemic has worn on, I've done more and more and more in this little home studio. And I have absolutely run out of space, which means this refurbishment, facelift, makeover, whatever you want to call it, is in just long overdue, and I'm so excited to make this very busy, chaotic space better. All right, so might sound kind of obvious, but my first step was to, of course, clear this out to the best of my ability, get everything off my desk, or desks, however you want to phrase that, there are multiple, and clear the way for me to get some projects done. Refurnishing the desk, refabbing the desk is my biggest project and the thing that inspired the makeover. I kind of did this thing, and I'm not sure if anyone else functions this way, where I had an idea for a better desk and it kind of exploded. This is my lovely fiance trying to explain to me that the laws of physics still function in my studio and that I am not exempt from them, and me arguing quite vehemently that he is wrong. He was, of course, not wrong. So I'm taking a break from clearing that out, and I'm putting together some of the furniture for my studio. I was really lucky in that I had a friend coming to visit for the week, and she was passing very near to an IKEA and was kind enough to stop by at the drop of a hat and pick up an order for me. And this right here is going to be a very small, and I think it's supposed to be an entertainment center, but for me it's going to be my printing center. So my printer and all of my printing paper and supplies should be held and will be held in this little dresser shelf thing. And I'm planning on hopefully putting this underneath one of the desks so as to clear up more space on the top, clear up more surface space so I get more of that real estate. Next, I'm putting together a new bookshelf. I am
wildly crazy about bookshelves. I honestly probably have a problem, but I was really excited about this because of my bookshelf love. And this bookshelf was perfect. It's also from IKEA. It's only about 15 inches across, which means it's going to slide into that space next to my window very, very well. And hopefully I can get all of my sketchbooks and art books and things I use for work on that shelf. And I will say, I've had bad times with IKEA products in the past, and putting these together was actually pretty easy. Having a friend there to have girl talk with me probably helped. Thank you, Diane. You were awesome. Now that I have my new shelving finished, it's time for me to install my new desk or desks. It's really, I had this idea for like an L-shaped desk that runs alongside two walls. It's kind of what I'd put together in a hodgepodge way before, but I wanted it to be intentional and streamlined and just cleaner and more able to host all of the things that I want to do with it. So I got this MDMF board from Lowe's. You can see I'm cannibalizing an old IKEA desk that I actually got from Goodwill when I was in college, so it did its time for the legs. But I got this MDMF board from Lowe's, and I'm going to paint it white. And the plan is, once it's painted white, I'm going to be putting some plexiglass on top of it to make it nice and shiny and easier to clean. And I'm just using plain indoor white paint. I just went and asked for the purest white they had, no dyes. So they gave it to me without any of the additives in there. I think it's like a semi-gloss. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I'm going in and painting all that and getting very distracted by Netflix. This board on this edge is just a little bit longer, and it's going to sit a bit higher than the second one. Now my favorite part of the whole thing, I'm filling up my new bookshelf. I forgot to film me actually putting it in, but filling it up with all of my sketchbooks, and oh my god, I have far too many sketchbooks. I probably need to stash some or store some from a really long time ago in a better place. They don't need to be quite as on hand, but I put my sketchbooks in there and my scale and a couple other cords and odds and ends. So we're bringing in the second desk surface, which is also an MDF board. As I said before, I cannibalized those table legs, and you can see that the laws of physics have finally taken hold, and I'm having to acknowledge that my fiance was right in that my MDMF board is not level. It is dipping in the middle because it is not as sturdy as 2x6s or 2x4s, whatever I had before. I think they were 2x6s. So I am currently, you can see me trying to fix this issue. What I ended up doing is I put another additional leg in the back of the desk. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's just a little dot in the back, and that helped make it kind of stable. And then I found a wooden crate, and oh god, I probably got it from Michael's ages ago, but I'm going to put that on top of my little printer stand, my printer shelf down there, and it was the perfect size to sit right between the shelf and the desk, and it props it up. It is by all means not a permanent solution. I'm probably going to have to get another table leg or put some support on the bottom of the desk by running a length of metal strut or a 2x4 along the bottom. But for now, that little crate will do. And it's not there yet. I think I got a shot of it. It'll be an end shot. And of course, I have to paint it white. There it is. There's the crate. You see me trying to make sure everything is level. It was such a project just getting things to be level. And it's still not perfectly level. There's probably 1/4 of an inch of warble, but that's fine. I just didn't want things rolling off the desk. Now I am cleaning the bejesus out of everything. I keep plants on my window ledges. I have a bunch of little cactuses and ivy and all sorts of fun stuff, and inevitably they make a mess. So I'm taking this chance to vacuum all of the extra dirt and leaves that have fallen off. And now it's time for the plexiglass. It's so shiny. it was really cool. I got this plexiglass from Lowe's as well, and the people at Lowe's were happy to cut both the plexiglass and the MDMF board to size for me. So, you know, I'm not sponsored by Lowe's, but hey, get at me, you guys, because they were great. They were very helpful. Perfect fit. I'm very happy. Now that second one, that second table, or I guess that's the first table. I worked on that one first. But it is way more level than the second one was to begin with. But by the time I was done with the second one, the first one was still a little warbly. So that will probably end up needing an additional leg as well at some point. But it's good enough to function for the moment. And this is me talking to my fiance while he's at work because I need his help because my grip strength is not strong enough to install my monitor mount. At least that's what I thought. There ended up being something away and I just didn't see it. So I'm using the time to pick and put and redistribute things along my desk. Putting the plants in pretty places. Kind of messing with my pegboard. I want to totally redesign and simplify my pegboard setup. That'll have to wait for another day though. I needed to stop adding things to my project. Here's me explaining my issues and him fixing it almost immediately. Thank you, baby. You're awesome. And I believe I start to install my monitor here. Now I am currently installing my Pavilion 27XW. It is not a top-of-the-line monitor by any means, and it does not work for art purposes, for making prints or doing digital paintings, but it's great for like my video editing and anytime I just need a lot of real estate for my monitor. If I have a bunch of different windows up at the same time, like when I'm accounting or editing my website or working on inventory or things like that. And thankfully this year I managed to get a new monitor that I'll be mounting here momentarily as well. That is 100% Adobe RGB accurate. And oh my god, it was like a whole new world. I was so excited about this monitor, and I still am. It's making prints much easier. I don't have to do this whole tango with my iPad and my monitor and printing things and then they don't come out right and I have to double check. It was a whole thing, and now I can skip it. And the plug issue. So I had very, very, very bad cord management. Cord organization before. They were just everywhere, and every time I looked under my desk or walked into the room and could see under my desk, it was just bad. So one of the things I wanted to do was make that better. So I got this like cord cage. I don't remember what it's called, but it was also from IKEA. And I drilled that to the bottom of my desk, and oh my god, it's so much better. That and just the way the computer is placed now is much closer to the outlet. So there's less cords going every which way, and the outlet is also closer to the monitor. So there's a lot less things going every direction, but the cord management was much better after this. I'm very pleased. So those little things that'll get you too. Also, plugging everything back in takes such a long time. Like I always underestimate how much of a project that's gonna be, and it always takes hours. Here I'm installing a new light into my overhead fan. And that's just something I did for myself. It wasn't strictly necessary, but I wanted to create a better ambience for my space to kind of inspire me and just feel better in this tiny little space I'm stuck in for the moment. I got one of those smart RGB lights, which has the dual benefit of not just being really pretty, but when I forget to turn it off, because I always forget to turn my lights off, I can tell Google to turn all my lights off at the end of the day. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Yeah, that's something I did for myself here and a couple other places in the house. Here's my second monitor that I'm still super excited about. Plugging all that in. And I don't remember what that's called. I'll have a link to it in the description if anyone's interested. It's a really nice little piece of technology. It was much cheaper than I thought it was going to be. Adobe RGB, 100% Adobe RGB that is not cheap. Not cheap, but very worth it. You can see my little sticker covered external hard drive. Every digital artist would know, or will know, or should know. You always back your things up. Not once, not twice, preferably 3 times. And you think that's overkill? It's not. Oh, the horror stories. I love my little plant shelf back there. I am trying to reorganize a little bit that shelf and get more things on it, but that's a project for another day too. Now, I installed these curtains a while back to kind of separate my space or give myself a nice backdrop when I'm doing YouTube videos. I have not utilized them to the best of my ability yet, but I thought I'd give them a little hook so I can pull them completely back when I'm not using them. And oh my god, it actually helped a lot. I didn't realize how much that was bugging me. And then I'm going to rearrange my little, what should I call this? Art wall? This is usually the space where I paint, and I put together this little frame with its moss and its flowers and its butterflies a while back, just because I thought it was pretty. I think it needs some more flowers. That'll be a project for another day. I'm putting that up, and then this LED neon sign that I bought from this lady in China, and that sounds like I got it mass produced. No. This lady had a business she runs with her dad, and it's her dad, and her brother, and they make LED signs and ship them all over the world. And I found her on Etsy, and they were great. I'll have a link to their shop as well because she was just great. And I really like this sign. Now I'm also putting up a little hook for my aprons. I had a kind of janky hook in the corner, and this one was just prettier, and I could paint it gold, and it matches my frame. And I put my little handmade apron up there. I have a bunch of aprons. This one's my favorite. I made it recently, and I made it by hand, but I have a lot more that'll be hanging on the hook by the time I'm done. So I'm very happy with this new space. I love the colors I get at night. I love the amount of desk space I have to work now. I feel like I can have paintings going, and I can be doing prints, and I can be shipping things all at once, and it's really nice. I still really want to redo those pegboards and maybe my shelves a little bit, but the night glow is really pleasant. I get some of my best work done at night. I guess I'm a night owl.
All right, so that was my studio renovation, rehaul, refab, refurnish, however you want to say it. I was really happy with it. It's a lot more spacious in here now. I feel like I have space to breathe and just a lot more areas I can work in. I can have multiple projects going at the same time and not pull my hair out. I'm not knocking things over every time I turn around. And it just feels better in here, you know, like the colors are nicer and I can relax. I don't know how to describe that, but like the feeling of the room is just so much better. The feng shui, is that what that's called? Is that what that means? I don't know. Someone let me know. But I'm really happy with it. Let me know if you guys have any questions about what I did, if I didn't cover something, if you spot a difference, or if I just didn't talk about something. And if you have any suggestions for my space or something that's worked really well for you, let me know, because I am always looking to improve my area and the place that I work, because I truly think that a good working space leads to better work. And I want to make some cool stuff this year. So stick around for that. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Do that whole dance. As I've said before, and I'll say again, I have a Facebook page. I have a Patreon. I've got a store where I sell all my prints and my work. There's a link for that somewhere down in the description below. And, you know, I have an Instagram. I have all these things. So if you feel like following me, if you liked what I did today, if you want to see more, please consider liking, subscribing, following, and all of those things. And a special shout out to all my patrons from Patreon. You guys are the real MVPs. You really help me make this stuff. You really help me make this sort of thing happen. And I appreciate you. And if you'd like to support me on Patreon and get a bunch of little behind the scenes snippets and little extras and stickers and things, I have a link for that below in the description as well. Thanks, guys, and have a fantabulous day.
Come